Tsunami Studios.
You guys know me, I'm always on the lookout for the next best book to just dive into that I think is going to be really fun and exciting. That might be Homesick Pilots. I think this is straight up my alley. It's really rock and roll, really punk, really gritty and intense, but it's got such a cool feel to it. It feels amazing. Let's give a quick shout out to the writer and artist on this book. Dan Waters is writing and Casper Wingard is the artist. Because this was really cool. It's just a different feeling book than what we've had for a long time. I really like it. So we open up this book and we are staying at this place called Santa Manos. Now, this is on the West Coast somewhere. I'm just going to assume so because we see a nice Ferris wheel on a dock, and that is very Santa Monica to me. And I think it's just really cool. So we're getting this narration from this person we yet to know, and they're saying that they can't really move. Something feels off about it, and when they scream, suddenly this house that they are in has exploded and has taken this weird form. So all around the city, we're just seeing some shots, and this person is just feeling a little different about things. I can hear my own voice. Things are acting a little different. Every time I move, I feel something is moving with me. I can't keep track of what's happening. And then we start to see that the house that was on top of this hill has kind of come to life, and it's morphed itself to look like this person. And people are like, what the heck is that thing? And we see that there's this woman inside who is pale white, and she is like, what is going on? What is happening to me in here? I wish I never gone to see the Nuclear Bastards that night. And then we do a flashback to the Nuclear Bastards. They are a really shitty band that were playing a few weeks earlier. And our woman is Amida, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and she is with her bandmates, and they're just listening to them like, these guys are really trash. Like, they got the right attitude, they just don't got the right stuff going on for them. They don't understand what music is. So we have Amida, we have Buzz, and we have Rip, and they're just listening to the song. None of them are, like, engaging with it. They're just kind of like, man, we're better than this. The Homesick Pilots that we are, we're fucking dope compared to these losers. But we need to find the right place to host our next gig. So Amida's like, well, what if we do it in that house that kills people? They're like, well, what? Why would we do that? We're not having it in a haunted house. That sounds like a terrible idea. But before they're able to finish it, somebody shouts cops, and it's like, all right, here we go. What are the cops going to say? You're trespassing on private property, you've assaulted an officer, what are they going to do? The cop comes barging in, he's like, you're trespassing on private property. They're all trying to escape out before they get caught. Rip, kicks the officer in the head, and he gets out just in time. They're all skateboarding away, they head to the pier, they're just chilling out and hanging out, just talking about, well, how are we going to find our next gig, and where's that going to be? And the idea again comes into, the old James house where people get killed. And Rip's the one who kind of gives a little backstory to some of the things, because all these people, we realize they are in foster care. They've been in homes before. And Rip knew the kid that used to live in that house when he came into the system. One day he just ran out there and his body collapsed on the doorstep. It's like his body just shut down because of starvation. When the cops found him, his fingernails were in the walls and he was just trying to claw his way out of the house, and nobody really understood what happened to him. And there was all really, that's bullshit. Come on, that's just a made up story to scare kids at the orphanage. But nope, that's probably what happened, because that's the kind of the key of this story, isn't it? The house is kind of evil, which is kind of a cool concept. I know we've seen it before where the house is haunted, but it's kind of cool. I like the punk rock feel it's given off here. I think that's really fun. So then as they're just chilling out there and they're having fun, oh look, the Nuclear Bastards show up and they get into some arguments. Their lead singer's trying to knock out Rip for just talking his mouth. They're starting to get into a fight, and you can tell Rip doesn't care. And she's just ready to beat up the girl, but they don't really fight, because I guess this idea comes into play that Amida's mom was killed, but everybody thinks she killed her mom because of some stupid shit about a dollhouse. But of course, that's probably not going to be the case, and some other fantastical figure did something to her mother. And Buzz is trying to reassure her, nobody thinks you did any of that, and that's great. So Amida just walks away. She's trying to go home. She's just saying all these bad things that people have said to her. Why are you such a stereotypical foster kid? You can't do anything right. You're a useless person. She decides, oh, screw it. I'm just going to go to the old James house, and she walks inside. And I gotta say, man, the artwork in this book is gorgeous. It's very clean and crisp, and the colors are so good. The colors around here, they're so edgy and rock. I just absolutely love it. It's really punk. This book is really punk, and the colors just scream that every time you see it. So Buzz and Rip decide they're going to investigate the house because they didn't see Amada get home last night, so they're walking around trying to figure out what to do. They decide they're going to break into the house. They get inside, and we get a nice page where they're just like walking around through every room of the house trying to figure out what to do. They run into the nuclear bastards, of course, because that's what you guys do. We got to have some victims in here, don't we? Of course they do. So we're like, well, we're trying to find some guy who's going to sell us some weed. And they're like, well, we're trying to find Amita because she didn't come home. They're all walking around trying to figure out. The lead singer's like, oh, I'm just going to go stab Rip because I want to rob him. And you're like, oh, that's funny. So the lead singer of the Nuclear Bastards is just like going off on a tangent. He's like, all right, this is crazy. I want some money. Let's find that crazy girl. Then all of a sudden, the house comes alive, and like the piping bursts in and like stabs him to death and kills him. One of the people in their band gets his head ripped off, and you're like, oh shit, we got to get out of here. So they're trying to run away, but the door vanishes, and you don't really know what that means or anything. So they're trying to get out of the house, and they just see like there's nothing they can do. Rip kind of gets stuck in the floor. Buzz helps pull him out. They're so lost. They see Meg, who's one of the Nuclear Bastards performers, get stuck in there. Like a room full of blood opens up and like sprays all over them, and they just see. I'm assuming that they see something that happened to Amita, but we don't really know what that is because Buzz is just like, oh my goodness, what did this place do to you? Then we cut to this story about this woman, and I love the colors in this page, just the way the pink and the blue plays off each other. It's really nice. So she's giving this story about how like back in like a different time period that like iron was supposed to be like this lucky element, and that's why she carries a horseshoe around with her because you carry that, you're going to get immediately more lucky because of it. And like the guy she's talking to is like, oh well, that's weird because your horseshoe just kind of woke up and it's like floating in the sky, and they're all staring, and then suddenly from the window out comes Amita. She's floating, covered in like this white glow. Her hair is turned white. She's pasty. She's like, hi, sorry to bother you, but I think you're in possession of a horseshoe that was stolen from a house, and the house would really like it if you could like give the horseshoe back because it's got ghosts in it, and the house would like to have its ghost back. So you're like, oh, that's fun. That's really cute and really interesting. This was a cool book. Like it was just kind of rad. I was gonna say radical. I'm like, is it radical? It's just rad. It's really cool and interesting. I love the idea of like this punk rock band that's kind of like trapped in this house. This woman becomes like possessed by a house and a ghost figure, and everything about it works really well. The coloring is fantastic. The artwork is fantastic. I like the way it's written. It's very stylized, very cool, very comforting. I think this is going to be one a lot of people should check out if you just kind of want that cool, edgy thing that's a little bit different than the normal books you've seen before. So I think it's something a lot of people should check out and enjoy. So Homesick Pilots issue 1, well worth the read, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.